Chapter 12. Active and Passive Voice. A. A transitive verb has two voices. 1. The active voice. 2. The passive voice. 1. The verb is said to be in the active voice when the subject is the doer of the action expressed by the verb. Examples: She paints pictures. I am singing a song. They will help you. 2. A verb is said to be the passive voice when the subject of the verb is acted upon. Examples: Pictures are painted by her. A song is being sung by me. You will be helped by them. The verbs are painted, is being sung, and will be helped are in the passive voice. Note: 1. Only transitive verbs that need an object to complete their sense, can ever be in the passive voice. 2. In active voice, the subject is given supreme importance. 3. In passive voice, the object is given supreme importance. B. When to use the passive voice. Passive voice is used: A. When the subject of the active voice is unknown, unimportant, or vague. Example: people, they, a person, somebody. Examples: He was killed in the last war. The ship was sunk hardly a mile offshore. Food was distributed free of charge. His house was burgled last night. B. When the work is got done by somebody. Examples: I had my clothes washed. We had our house swept clean. C. In newspaper headlines, in such cases, helping verbs are generally omitted for the sake of brevity. Examples: Brave children honored. Petrol prices hiked. D. In notices. Examples: Smoking is strictly prohibited. Checks shall not be accepted. E. To report procedure and scientific experiments. Examples: Common salt is got from the sea. Sea water is collected in salt pans. It is allowed to evaporate in the sun. As a result, salt crystals are formed at the bottom. They are removed and dried in the sun. C. The form of the passive voice. Look at the sentences in the two columns below. Active voice, passive voice. 1. Mr. Manish designs buildings. Buildings are designed by Mr. Manish. 2. They grow rice. Rice is grown by them. 3. The servant washes our clothes. Our clothes are washed by the servant. 4. He teaches me. I am taught by him. Notice the changes we make when we transform sentences from the active voice to the passive voice. 1. The subject of the verb in the active voice becomes the object of the verb in the passive voice. 2. The object of the verb in the active voice becomes the subject of the verb in the passive voice. 3. The form of the verb undergoes a change in the passive. The past participle form of the verb is used. 4. The preposition by is generally added after the verb in the passive voice. We use by plus agent, subject of active voice. 5. The tense remains the same. T. The form of the verb in the passive varies according to the tense of the verb in the active. In order to make sentences in the passive voice, the forms which verbs take when put in this voice have to be learned. Here is a chart giving the passive voice, forms of the verbs in the various tenses together with examples. The letters PP used in the chart stand for past participle. Tense, form, examples. Simple present, am plus PP. I am helped by him. Is plus PP. Rice is grown there. Are plus PP. Lamps are lighted on that day. Simple past, was plus PP. The book was sold out. Were plus PP. The trees were cut. Present continuous, am being plus PP. I am being trained for teaching. Is being plus PP. He is being trained as a mechanic. Are plus being plus PP. Houses are being built for the poor. Past continuous, was plus being plus PP. A meeting was being held. Were plus being plus pp. The papers were being corrected. Present perfect. Has been plus pp. The house has been whitewashed. Have been plus pp. The rooms have been locked. Past perfect. Had been plus pp. The question had been answered. Simple future. Will shall plus be plus pp. Lamps will be lighted on that day. We shall be informed of the result. Future perfect. Will shall plus have been plus pp. The boys will have been admitted. We shall have been told. Note: the passive forms of present perfect continuous, past perfect continuous and future perfect continuous are not given in the chart because these tenses have no passive voice. Given below are some examples of passive voice forms of verbs when combined with modal auxiliaries. Active voice. Passive voice. 1. He can win the prize. The prize can be won by him. 2. He may drive the car through the tunnel. The car may be driven through the tunnel. 3. Our team could win the match. The match could be won by our team. 4. You must send a reply. A reply must be sent. 5. A doctor should see him. He should be seen by a doctor. 6. We ought to show respect to our elders. Our elders ought to be shown respect. 7. Ants must have eaten the cakes. The cakes must have been eaten by ants. 8. The child might have broken the mirror. The mirror might have been broken by the child. F. Passive voice of imperative sentences. 1. Note the change from the active voice to the passive voice in the following imperative sentences. Active voice. Passive voice. 1. Do it at once. Let it be done at once. 2. Post this letter. Let this letter be posted. 3. Never tell a lie. Let a lie never be told. 4. Put up this picture on the wall. Let this picture be put up on the wall. 5. Inform the police of the accident. Let the police be informed of the accident. Note: the form of the verb in the passive voice is let plus be plus past participle and the subject is put between let and be plus past participle. 2. When the sentence has no subject, the passive voice is you are requested, advised, ordered plus to plus base form of the verb. Look at the following sentences. Active voice. Passive voice. 1. Please help the poor. You are requested to help the poor. 2. Do not gamble. You are advised not to gamble. 3. Stand up on the bench. You are ordered to stand up on the bench. G. Passive of interrogative sentences. 1. Look how the yes or no questions are put into the passive voice. Active voice. Passive voice. 1. Do they speak Tamil? Is Tamil spoken by them? 2. Can we send this big parcel by air? Can this big parcel be sent by air? 3. Must we cut this tree? Must this tree be cut? 4. Will they hold the elections? Will the elections be held? 5. Has he invited you? Have you been invited by him? A. The form of the verb in the passive voice question is be plus past participle if the question begins with do, does, did. Example: is Tamil spoken by them? B. Modal auxiliary plus be plus past participle if the question in the active voice begins with a modal auxiliary. Example: can this big parcel be sent by air? C. Has, have, had plus be plus past participle if the question in the active voice is in the present or past perfect tense. Example: have you been invited by them? Note: The subject in all yes or no questions in the passive voice is put between the auxiliary and the main verb. 2. Note how the question word questions and turned into the passive voice. The form of the verb is be plus past participle, or if a modal auxiliary is used in the active voice, modal auxiliary plus be plus past participle. Example, why should these tree be cut? Active voice. Passive voice. 1. Where did you buy this pen? Where was this pen bought by you? 2. Why did they pull down the building? Why was the building pulled down? 3. When did they deliver the mail? When was the mail delivered? 4. Where will they send these prisoners? Where will these prisoners be sent? 5. What did they buy in the shop? What was bought by them in the shop? 6. Who wrote Macbeth? Who was Macbeth written by, or by whom was Macbeth written? H. Passive of negative sentences. Look at these sentences. Active voice, passive voice. 1. Some members did not attend the meeting. The meeting was not attended by some members. 2. The assembly will not pass this bill. This bill will not be passed by the assembly. 3. We should not raise this question now. This question should not be raised now. 4. They don't teach English in the lower classes. English is not taught in the lower classes. Note: in these examples, the passive voice is formed in the same way as in the case of affirmative sentences, but the negative word not is put between the auxiliary and the past participle. I. Verbs having two objects. When a transitive verb has two objects, one direct object and the other indirect object, either of them may become the subject of the sentence in the passive voice. Examples: active, Mr. Sharma teaches us English. Passive, we are taught English by Mr. Sharma, or English is taught to us by Mr. Sharma. Active, the principal gave him a prize. Passive, he was given a prize by the principal, or a prize was given to him by the principal. Active, my uncle sent me a beautiful gift. Passive, a beautiful gift was sent to me by my uncle. I was sent a beautiful gift by me uncle. J. Passive voice of verbs of incomplete predication. Examples: active, they elected him captain. Passive, he was elected captain by them. Active, the result left the boy disappointed. Passive, the boy was left disappointed by the result. K. Passive voice of prepositional verbs. Examples: 1. I listened to him attentively. He was listened to attentively by me. 2. The boys laughed at the beggar. The beggar was laughed at by the boys. 3. I objected to his proposal. His proposal was objected to by me. 4. A police officer is inquiring into the matter. The matter is being inquired into by a police officer. Notice that if a verb in the active voice is followed by a preposition, the preposition is retained in the passive voice. L. The use of prepositions other than by in passive voice. In the passive voice, the subject of the active verb is generally made the object of the preposition by, but sometimes some other preposition is used. Examples: active, I know his father. Passive, his father is known to me. Active, the jug contains milk. Passive, milk is contained in the jug. Active, his progress satisfied his teacher. Passive, his teacher was satisfied with his progress. Active, the news surprised me. Passive, I was surprised at the news. Active, his death shocked us. Passive, we were shocked at his death. M. Passive voice without agent. When the agent is not expressed in the passive voice, it must be supplied in the active voice. Examples: passive, his bicycle has been stolen. Active. Somebody has stolen his bicycle. Passive. Promises should be kept. Active. One should keep one's promises. Passive. It is said that honesty is the best policy. Active. They say that honesty is the best policy. Passive. The thief was arrested. Active. The police arrested